So in this video I will be showing you how to export a figure from a set of data that you have processed using the software Muffian. For this example I will be loading just data from this folder here, welding trails, and let's just select for instance use this here. Just select start at position 11 and we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 files all loaded together. So these are the data that I have plotted here, and first thing that we can do is select a range that we want for the X and Y axis. So the easiest way to do that is to click on zoom and just draw hopefully a rectangle in the area we want to have. And then I'd like to bring your attention when you have done that to this menu here. The axis has automatically switched to the manual mode, and the X minimum, X maxima, and Y min and max have been written here in the readers. So you can adjust them as you want. So for this graph, let's just say from 20 seconds to 40 seconds, and from, let's say, 0 degrees to 1000 degrees. It seems quite appropriate here for this graph. So once you have set that up, you can just update this. You see, this is updating this. So I say, oh, I'm actually missing a little bit of my data here. So let's just do 60 here. And so we now have this one here. So you see, that's just the principle of it. So let's just export this data with 40 for this example. That would be completely good enough. So when you want to export, it means that you want to create a figure, and so you will use the button that is called Save here. So you could click on that button at any time for any of the operation that you would do, and you would simply have to select at this point here, once this output figure wizard is opening, which of the graph you want to export. So you see you have 4 graphics here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you select which one you want to export here. So this is of course the graph 1 for this example. What you see here is that it creates a name by default. So you virtually don't have to actually give a name, but you could just change the name to whatever you want. That's going to be the name for the data that are going to be exported into a single ASCII file, as well as for the figure that will be created. So the automatic name, as you see, it's the date and the time at which you have actually clicked on the Save button. So then it's very classical for any output wizard. You have to select what is the format of the figure that you want. PNG here is appropriate. What's the font that you want, so Time, Arial, Helvetica, and so on. What's the size, the font size? So F size means font size. So let's just select 45 for this example. And what's the ratio of the figure? Would it like to be a square or a rectangle horizontal with a ratio of 0.5, or a vertical rectangle, and so on? Then here you would have to choose where do you want to put the legend. So the legend would be the key, the K for all of those files that you plot together. So in this particular example, it would probably be appropriate to have the legend on the top hand corner on the left side. So they would be inside, top left. Out would means outside the graph, right? So in top left, it's appropriate here. Then you can choose to be in color or in black and white. Certain paper are required to have in black and white. You choose here the resolution. So you see, by just changing here, it would give you an idea of what would be the DPI on a figure that would be 10 centimeter in width. So everybody has to put figures in document, like in a Word document, for instance. The width of the page is about 20 centimeters. So if figures is 10 centimeters in this page, the DPI for this resolution would be 380 DPI. That's the idea. So you see that with this resolution, you are good to go for most of the requirement paper in scientific journal, for instance. So let's just go for this, and then you can give a title. So that would be temperature data, for instance. You'd have time in second, temperature in degrees C. You can have here some symbols that would be useful for putting the degree sign here, for instance. And then here that would be simply the title for the legend. So let's say it's TC1, and then you can just copy this value, TC2, 3, and 4 for these other cases. So what you have is then here the range we have discussed already, so you don't have to change this because it conserves the one that you have selected here already. And so once you've selected this, you can just simply create the figure by clicking OK. There is a message here that summarized what has been created by the software automatically and tells you where the figure is saved. So if you press OK here, the figure is displayed right away on the computer here. So you see the figure is looking quite alright. You see, maybe you want to make a change to this figure by, for instance, increasing the point size, because you see the point size for this example is a little small. So simply close this figure and then change the point size here. You see you can change the point size to maybe 3. And then update the file. This is changing the figure here, and then you see all the inputs that you have given previously are being saved, so you virtually have not to do anything and simply press OK. The figure will be automatically replaced and reopened up with a larger point size. That's gonna be the same for line. If you wanted to have plot with line and not with point, that would be strictly the same idea. Just changing some function here and options and saving the file for the output. What you have in addition to the figure is a GNUplot script for the people that knows how to use GNUplot. This would be located into the Muffian folder, so you have your data directory that you have set up originally, and in the Muffian directory, the Muffian folder here, you'd have some figure. So that's the figure we just created we just created. So here, that's the figure we just created, and the GNUplot script for this particular figure is just saved right here. So if you were to open it up with, let's say, some text editor, you could definitely bring some changes, more subtle changing that the software doesn't allow to do. Just wanted to show, here, that's the GNUplot script that you can use and modify as you wish. So that's it for this demonstration of output figure with the Muffian software.